¿Te gustaría aprender inglés de forma rápida, divertida y efectiva? Hoy les traigo algo nuevo, un podcast para aprender inglés diseñado para que aprendas nuevo vocabulario y te acostumbres a la pronunciación real del inglés. Exploraremos cómo establecer metas efectivas para el año nuevo, evitando errores comunes y aprovechando estrategias clave. Con subtítulos en inglés y español, aprenderás de forma natural y efectiva. Prepárate para una lección que transformará tu 2025. Ahora sí, comencemos.
Hello everyone and Happy New Year. Welcome to our first episode of the year. Today, we're diving into a topic that's on everyone's mind, New Year's resolutions. Have you ever started January full of enthusiasm with a long list of goals, only to forget about them halfway through the year? Don't worry. This episode is here to help. We'll explore how to set realistic goals and, more importantly, how to achieve them. Plus, we'll share inspiring stories and introduce some English vocabulary related to the topic. Now, let's get started. David, welcome to the show. Let's begin with the basics. What's the most common mistake people make when setting goals?
The biggest mistake is setting vague goals or goals that don't align with personal values. For example, saying, "I want to get fit" is too broad and doesn't provide a clear direction. People also often set goals based on external pressures like trends or what their friends are doing, rather than focusing on what truly matters to them.
Can you give an example?
Sure. Mike decided to run a marathon because his friends were doing it. But he quickly realized he hated running and wasn't motivated because it didn't align with his interests. Instead, he could have chosen something he genuinely enjoyed, like swimming.
What about vague goals? Why are they problematic?
Without clarity, it's hard to take action or track progress. For instance, saying, "I want to save money" is too broad. Instead, say, "I want to save $200 per month."
And how can people improve their follow-through?
Accountability and tracking are key. Share your goals with someone you trust and use tools like apps or journals to monitor progress. Celebrating small wins helps too. For example, if you miss a step, don't give up, just get back on track.
What's one takeaway for our listeners?
Reflect on your goals today. Ask yourself, do these align with my values? Are they specific? Then, write down one small step you can take this week. Progress is built on small, consistent actions.
David, can you explain the SMART method?
Of course. SMART stands for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. It's a framework that helps clarify and structure your goals.
Let's start with specific. Why is that important?
Specific goals provide clarity. Instead of saying, "I want to save money," say, "I want to save $200 each month." This gives you a clear target.
And measurable?
Measurable goals let you track progress. For example, "I'll exercise for 30 minutes, 5 times a week." Keeps you accountable and allows you to celebrate milestones.
What about achievable?
Goals should stretch you but remain realistic. For instance, if you're new to running, aim to run 1 mile 3 times a week instead of a marathon in a month.
Relevant?
Relevant goals align with your values. If family is a priority, working 80 hours a week might not fit. Align goals with what truly matters to you.
Finally, time-bound?
Deadlines create urgency. For instance, "I'll lose 10 pounds by June 1st. Without timelines, it's easy to procrastinate.
Can you share an example of someone successfully using SMART?
Sure. Sarah wanted to save money. She set a goal. Save $500 in 3 months by cutting dining out expenses. She tracked her progress and celebrated when she reached her target.
Any tips?
Break big goals into smaller steps. For example, to read 12 books in a year, aim for 1 book per month and a few pages daily. Share your goals with someone for accountability and celebrate every small win. Progress, not perfection, is key.
Motivation is such a challenge for so many people, especially after the initial excitement of setting a goal fades. How can someone maintain their motivation throughout the year?
That's a great question, Emily. The key to staying motivated is understanding that motivation isn't constant. It's something you cultivate. Breaking your goals into smaller milestones helps. Achieving even small steps gives you a sense of progress and keeps you moving forward.
That's a good point. But what about procrastination? It's something so many people struggle with, myself included at times.
Procrastination often stems from fear or overwhelm. To overcome it, start with the smallest possible action. For example, if your goal is to write a book, start with just one sentence. Taking that first step makes the rest feel less intimidating. Also, set specific deadlines to create accountability. Without clear timelines, it's easy to keep postponing tasks.
I like the idea of starting small. Are there strategies to make the process more enjoyable?
Absolutely. Rewards are a great motivator. If you complete a week of workouts, treat yourself to something you love. A nice meal, a movie night, or a relaxing day off. Rewards create positive reinforcement and help turn actions into lasting habits.
And what about when someone feels completely stuck? How do they push through those moments?
Reconnect with your why. Remind yourself why this goal matters and visualize the outcome. Imagine how achieving it will improve your life. Another tip is to change your environment. Working in a different space or exercising outdoors can refresh your energy and focus.
That's a great tip. Any advice for maintaining motivation?
Track your progress and celebrate every achievement, no matter how small. For instance, if your goal is to read 12 books in a year and you finish one, celebrate that milestone. Progress builds momentum, and momentum fuels motivation. The key is consistent action. Don't wait for motivation to appear. It grows as you see results.
That's so encouraging. So, to everyone listening, start small, reward yourself, and keep your why front and center. Motivation doesn't have to be constant. It's something you create. David, big goals can feel overwhelming. How can people break them down into manageable steps?
That's where micrometas come in. Micrometas are tiny, actionable steps that make big goals less intimidating. Instead of focusing on the entire goal, focus on just the next step. For example, if your goal is to write a book, start with writing 1 paragraph a day. Over time, those small efforts add up.
That's a great concept. How do micrometas help build confidence?
Every time you complete a micrometa, you experience a small win. These small wins boost your confidence and create momentum. When you see progress, no matter how small, it reinforces the belief that you can achieve your larger goal.
Can you share an example?
Absolutely. Let's say someone wants to run a 10K race but has never run before. Instead of aiming for 10 kilometers right away, they could start by jogging for 1 minute and walking for 2. Each successful session builds their endurance and confidence to take on the next step.
That's such a practical approach. Any tips for using micrometas effectively?
Keep them specific and realistic. Write them down and track your progress. For example, instead of saying, "I'll clean the house," break it into smaller tasks like, "I'll organize 1 drawer today." Micrometas keep you focused and make large goals feel achievable.
I love that. To everyone listening, remember, start small, celebrate each win, and let those micrometas lead you to big success. Achieving goals can feel like a solo journey, but how important is having a support system?
It's incredibly important. A strong support system provides accountability, encouragement, and perspective. Surrounding yourself with positive, Like-minded people can keep you motivated and help you push through tough moments.
What does a good support system look like in practice?
Could be friends, family, or even mentors who genuinely want to see you succeed. For example, if you're trying to improve your fitness, joining a workout group or having a gym buddy can make a huge difference. These relationships keep you accountable and provide a sense of community.
That's great advice. But what about auto-sabotage? How can people recognize and avoid it?
Auto-sabotage often stems from fear of failure, or even fear of success. It can show up as procrastination, perfectionism, or negative self-talk. The first step to avoiding it is awareness. Ask yourself, am I holding myself back in any way? Journaling can help uncover patterns of behavior that might be sabotaging your progress.
What's a practical way to shift from auto-sabotage to self-support?
Start by replacing negative self-talk with constructive affirmations. For example, instead of thinking, I'll never be good enough, say, I'm learning and improving every day. Also, set realistic expectations and celebrate small wins to build confidence and reduce pressure.
And how can someone build a support system if they feel they don't have one?
Look for communities aligned with your goals. Whether it's an online group, a local class, or a mentor, there are always people who share your interests and challenges. Don't be afraid to reach out and connect. Support systems can be built from scratch, one relationship at a time.
Any thoughts on avoiding auto-sabotage and building support?
Remember, you don't have to do it all alone. Lean on your support system, and don't be afraid to ask for help. At the same time, be mindful of how your own thoughts and actions impact your journey. Self-awareness and a strong network are powerful tools for success.
To everyone listening, build your team, recognize your worth, and avoid being your own obstacle. With the right support, anything is possible. Life is unpredictable, and unexpected changes can often derail even the best-laid plans. How can people adapt to these challenges without losing sight of their goals?
Flexibility is key. Life rarely goes exactly as planned, so it's important to see unexpected changes not as roadblocks, but as opportunities to reassess and adjust. Instead of focusing on what went wrong, ask yourself, what can I do with what I have now?
That's a great perspective. How does reflection help in this process?
Regularly reflecting on your progress allows you to identify what's working and what isn't. For example, if your goal is to exercise 5 times a week, but your work schedule changes, reflection helps you realize you can shift to 3 longer sessions instead. Adjusting your approach doesn't mean failure. It means you're staying committed in a way that fits your current reality.
What's a practical strategy for adjusting goals when things don't go as planned?
One strategy is to break your goals into must-do and nice-to-do tasks. This creates flexibility. For instance, if your goal is to save $300 a month but unexpected expenses arise, adjust to saving $100 instead. It's better to make progress at a slower pace than to stop entirely.
That's really helpful. And what about maintaining motivation when things don't go as expected?
Reconnect with your why. Remind yourself why this goal matters and how even small progress keeps you moving forward. Visualization can also help. Imagine overcoming the obstacle and continuing on your journey. Flexibility doesn't mean giving up. It means finding new ways to stay on track.
Any advice for dealing with unexpected changes?
Embrace change as a normal part of the process. Adjust your goals when needed, but stay focused on your overall vision. Reflect regularly, celebrate the progress you're making, and trust that the journey is just as important as the destination.
To everyone listening, remember, adaptability isn't about changing your goal, it's about changing your approach. Keep reflecting, keep adjusting, and keep moving forward. David, we just talked about adapting to unexpected changes, but reflection also seems to play a big role in long-term success. How can people use reflection to stay on track?
Reflection is essential. It gives you a chance to step back, evaluate your progress, and make informed adjustments. For example, if you're not seeing the results you hoped for, reflection helps you identify whether your methods need tweaking or if you're focusing on the wrong priorities.
How often should someone reflect on their goals?
A good practice is to reflect weekly for small adjustments and quarterly for bigger evaluations. Weekly check-ins help you stay accountable, while quarterly reflections let you reassess the big picture and make significant changes if needed.
Can you share an example of how reflection has helped someone adjust their path?
Absolutely. Take Jessica, who set a goal to learn a new language. After 3 months, she realized her plan to study for an hour every evening wasn't sustainable due to her work schedule. Through reflection, she shifted to 20-minute morning sessions, which fit her routine better. This small adjustment made her goal more manageable and consistent.
That's such a practical example. What about people who might feel discouraged if they're not making as much progress as they'd like?
Reflection isn't about judging yourself. It's about learning. Even if progress is slower than expected, celebrate the small wins and use them as motivation. Adjust your timeline if needed, but stay committed to the overall goal. Remember, progress isn't always linear.
How can someone effectively reflect without overthinking or feeling overwhelmed?
Keep it simple. Ask 3 questions. What worked? What didn't? What can I improve? Write down your thoughts and focus on 1 or 2 changes you can implement right away. Reflection doesn't have to be a long process. It just needs to be intentional.
That's great advice. Reflection really does seem to be the key to staying adaptable and on track with goals. David, achieving goals often depends on having the right mindset, but how much does our physical and mental environment affect our success?
A lot more than people realize, Emily. Your environment shapes your habits, focus, and motivation. A cluttered or distracting space can make it harder to concentrate, while a clean, organized environment encourages productivity. The same applies to your mental environment. Negative thoughts or stress can drain your energy and derail your progress.
What are some practical ways to optimize your physical environment?
Start by decluttering your workspace. Remove unnecessary items and organize your tools so everything you need is within reach. For example, if your goal is to study more, create a dedicated study area free from distractions like your phone or noisy surroundings. Lighting also matters. Natural light can boost focus and mood.
And what about the mental environment? How can someone improve that?
It's about managing stress and cultivating positivity. Practices like mindfulness or meditation can help clear your mind and improve focus. Surround yourself with uplifting influences, whether that's motivational books, positive people, or inspiring content. Avoid negativity, such as constant social media scrolling or toxic conversations.
Can you share an example of how someone optimized their environment to achieve their goals?
Definitely. There's John, who wanted to improve his writing. He set up a quiet corner with just his laptop, a notebook, and a plant for a touch of nature. He also started a habit of meditating for 5 minutes before writing to clear his mind. This simple setup helped him write consistently without distractions.
That's inspiring. Any advice for creating an environment that supports your goals?
Be intentional. Regularly assess your space and mental state to ensure they're aligned with your goals. Small changes, like organizing your desk or starting the day with a gratitude practice, can make a big difference. Remember, your environment should work for you, not against you.
Thank you so much, David, for all the incredible tips and insights today. It's clear that achieving our goals isn't just about motivation or willpower. It's about creating the right environment, both physically and mentally, to support our journey. To everyone listening, remember, small, intentional changes can have a big impact over time. Whether it's decluttering your space, practicing mindfulness, or simply taking one small step toward your goal each day, the power to succeed is in your hands. Thank you for joining us on this episode. Don't forget to reflect on what you've learned today and start applying it to your own life. If you found this helpful, share it with a friend who might need a little extra inspiration. Here's to a year full of growth, progress, and success. Until next time, stay focused, stay positive, and keep moving forward. See you soon.
We're diving. New Year's resolutions. New Year's resolutions. Halfway through the year. Basics. Setting goals. Follow through. Take away. Tips. Fades. Throughout. Struggle. Encouraging. Front and center. Overwhelming. Auto-sabotage. Self-support. Worth. Unpredictable. Derail. Best laid. Sight. Long term. Stay on track. Path. Discouraged. Overthinking. Mindset. Insights. Willpower. Decluttering. Toward. Succeed. Vague. Get fit. Broad. Pressures. Matters. It didn't align. Track. For instance. Instead. Accountability. Key. Get back on track. Step. Stands for. Framework. Target. Measurable. 5 times a week. Milestones. Stretch. Remain. Aim. Mile. Might. Deadlines. Timelines. Cutting dining out expenses. Cutting dining out expenses. Reached. Reached. Break big goals into. Break big goals into. Achieving. Achieving. Moving forward. Moving forward. Stems from. Stems from. Overcome. Overcome. Postponing. Postponing. Rewards. Rewards. Motivator. Motivator. Treat yourself. Treat yourself. Day off. Day off. Lasting. Lasting. Outcome. Outcome. Achievement. Achievement. Momentum. Momentum. Appear. Appear. It grows. It grows. Tiny. Tiny. Add up. Add up. Boost. Boost. Reinforces. Reinforces. Belief. Belief. Race. Race. Right away. Right away. Endurance. Endurance. Drawer. Drawer. Support. Support. Encouragement. Encouragement. Surrounding yourself. Surrounding yourself. Like-minded. Like-minded. Push through. Push through. Gym buddy. Gym buddy. Auto-sabotage. Auto-sabotage. Show up. Show up. Awareness. Awareness. Am I holding myself back? Am I holding myself back? Journaling. Journaling. Uncover. Uncover. Sabotaging. Sabotaging. Self-talk. Self-talk. Weather. Weather. Reach out. Reach out. From scratch. From scratch. Self-awareness. Self-awareness. Rarely. Rarely. Roadblocks. Roadblocks. Reassess. Reassess. Went wrong. Went wrong. Shift. Shift. Failure. Failure. Committed. Committed. Arise. Arise. Pace. Pace. Embrace. Embrace. Overall. Overall. Step back. Step back. Tweaking. Tweaking. Big picture. Big picture. If needed. If needed. Sustainable. Sustainable. Through. Through. Manageable. Manageable. Linear. Linear. Shapes. Shapes. Cluttered. Cluttered. Derail. Derail. Set up. Set up. Assess. Assess. Against. Against.
Y eso es todo por hoy, espero haberte ayudado con esta clase y nos vemos en un próximo video. Hasta luego.